Sexual and reproductive health is a subject which is not much appreciated for an open discussion in our country. While sexually transmitted infections continue to be one of the major public health concerns. At MediCircle, we are conducting a series on sexual and reproductive health awareness to raise awareness about the issues related to it and to educate the society to reduce the spread of sexually transmitted diseases. I'm Smita Kumar, your host, and in this initiative, we are going to speak to Dr. Sumit Mehta. Dr. Sumit Mehta is a consultant urologist who is a medical professional with urology focused in urinary stones, prostate infertility, transplant lasers. He is skilled in medical devices, oncology, healthcare information technology, management, and healthcare management. Currently, he is associated to big names like Reliance Hospitals, Fortis Hospital, the Fortis Group, Wockhardt Hospitals, Apollo Hospitals, and Apollo Spectra Hospitals. He has been into practice since 23 years. Hello, Dr. Sumit. Welcome to MediCircle.
Yeah, hi Smita.
So,
Nice to be with you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak with you.
thanks for joining, Dr. Sumit. To begin with, we would be asking you what are the most common sexual problems in men and what are the best ways to improve male sexual and reproductive health?
Okay. Now, the commonest problems that we encounter among men regarding sexual health is I would put them into two groups. One is anatomical and the other is physiological. The commonest anatomical problem, surprisingly, in a country like India, is a very common problem, which is phimosis. That means a tight foreskin. And I encounter a lot of males because there have been situations in their childhood where they have not their the father or the mother hasn't seen the child when he's growing up or when he was small and bothered to see whether the prepuce is actually retractile or not. Now that is a very very common cause of sexual dysfunction in men in our country, because for religious reasons people don't circumcise in our country. So we have a lot of Hindu and Sikh males and some Christians also who have a lot of problems with phimosis, and that is one of the leading causes of problems related to sexual intercourse and sexual health in a male. The second common cause which we encounter is premature ejaculation.
Okay.
Okay, the third problem which we commonly encounter is patients who have erectile dysfunction. Now, erectile dysfunction and premature ejaculation are two different parts of the same spectrum.
Okay.
So premature ejaculation are men who are able to have intercourse, but they are not able to sustain an erection because they ejaculate quickly. The other set of patients we see are males who are able to have not have a very good erection, or who have weak erections right in the beginning, or they lose their erection during intercourse before they actually ejaculate. So these are the common kinds of problems we encounter in males related to sexual health.
Okay. So as you just mentioned about sexual dysfunction, so what is exactly this sexual dysfunction in males, and what are the most common problems related to it, and what are its common causes?
Okay, typically we encounter males who have erectile dysfunction. That means we will first talk about erectile dysfunction. Okay, erectile dysfunction is a common problem in today's world because we have a lot of stressful society, work stress and home stress and stress related, all kinds of stresses and strains are happening in society today. And we are having men who generally find an escape through this in the form of smoking. They consume tobacco, they consume alcohol, and this whole thing eventually adds to the erectile dysfunction. So we have patients who have erectile dysfunction in the form of weak erections to begin with. There are some men who have good erections but are unable to sustain them, as I said, and there are the last category who lose their erection well before ejaculation. And added to this is the last category of premature ejaculation. Now, typically we have men who come to us with this problem being there for a number of years because they don't want to talk about it.
Yes.
There have been a number of movies that have been made in the Indian cinema also recently, where a lot has been spoken about erectile dysfunction, and it's gradually coming out of the closet.
Definitely.
But most men even today are pretty much they are very skeptical, and they're shy to come out and speak about it in the
Definitely.
open, and they are most of them are in a denial mode about it.
Okay.
So when they do come to the doctor, they have usually had this problem for a long period of time, and they have in the educated class they would probably have tried self medication with some kind of herbal remedies or self medicated with Viagra and so many other things.
Okay.
Now, when you get a patient with this kind of a problem, then you have to get to the root cause of it. Because very often, many of these men, as I said, have a phimosis, or they have underlying problems like diabetes, or they have hypertension, or they have been taking medication for blood pressure, which is interfering with their erections. And of course, they have addictions like smoking and alcohol. And many of these men are obese. They have a problem with their lipid profile. Now, we need to understand here that, like the heart, the penis also has a huge amount of blood supply going to it. Now, just as the arteries in the heart get blocked and you get a heart attack, the with age and hypertension and lipid profiles and abnormal lipid profiles and lipid related diseases, you can get blocks in the arteries of the penis also. And that is one reason why we encounter patients who have what we call arteriogenic impotence. That means erectile dysfunction because there's poor flow to the penis, and they are unable to get adequate erections or engorgement of the penis during the erectile phase of intercourse. Okay. Now, added to this is another reason whereby we have the other kind of impotence wherein they are unable to sustain an erection. So a lot of these men have leaking veins. So they have a disease of the veins and not of the arteries. And the third form of erectile dysfunction, which is organic, is men who have neurological disease. That means they have had an injury or they have had certain kinds of diseases affecting the nerves. Commonest is diabetes, where it destroys the nerve supply to the penis. So that will also cause erectile problems in them. So, erectile dysfunction is not a simple one disease, one medication and one solution and everything is sorted. In the initial phases, it is that because most men are prescribed drugs like Viagra, or they are advised changes in their lifestyle. So, that can help them overcome this problem. But very often this doesn't work and eventually they require a surgical option as well. So this is one way of looking at erectile dysfunction where you have weak erections. The other part of it is men who have premature ejaculation. The premature ejaculation is something completely different. It is not related to an erectile problem. It is just that the man is unable to hold on to his ejaculation, so he experiences early ejaculation, and that leads to dissatisfaction of both the partners in most of the cases. So this is very treatable. There are a lot of local agents available. Then there are certain kind of barriers we use to delay the sexual pleasure in the man so that he ejaculates late. And of course, there are medications available also.
Okay. One last question, which a lot of males are actually trying to find, but as you beautifully explained, I think they must be going to a medical expert rather than, Googling things. So one question is regarding.
Yeah, yes. What I tell all my patients, not only patients who have erectile problems, but who have stones and prostate disease. My primary area of work is prostate disease, stones, and urological oncology or female gynecology. Okay, I mean female urology. So I do a lot of urogynecological work.
Okay.
So, but all my patients, irrespective of what they actually have, I tell them, please don't go to Google, because Google will confuse you, it will depress you, and most of the times you'll end up taking the wrong decisions. Use Google as a guidance. Don't use it as a cross questioning or a cross questioning your doctor over whatever he's advising you. Have faith in your doctor. Let him do the prescribing, and don't let Google overtake your life in such a way that you get dependent on it, and it will eventually they become mental wrecks because they have so many options and they don't know what they do.
Definitely.
So I would say that go to your doctor, follow what he's telling you to do, and take his advice. And Google is not the way out.
Definitely. So one last question, straight from the, we need to be getting an answer straight from the doctor rather than finding on the Google. Is like, what are the best ways to improve male sexual performance?
Okay, now there is no drug available, or there is no magic pill available, or a magic substance available which will, improve performance and make you a Superman in every way. No, it doesn't work like that. Now, there are a number of ways of approaching this. First of all, any male who has a stressful work environment or any kind of stress with the family or in the workplace, that needs to be tackled. So we need to have something like a multi-pronged approach. Secondly, we, like all other things, we have to eat healthy. So fresh fruits, veggies, cut down on your sugar, cut down on the salt. If you have a tendency towards high blood pressure, then check that out and get it controlled. Look after your lipid profile. Keep a watch on obesity and overweight. Stop alcohol. Stop all kinds of tobacco. So all this will take you a long way in obviously taking care of sexual health. And if there is a problem, in spite of all this, if you feel that as any man feels that he has an erectile problem, then he should look at it more from point of view of any underlying disease which could be anywhere in the body. Simple thing like a thyroid disease can give you erectile problems. Anything with early kidney failure or liver dysfunction can give you erectile dysfunction. Like I said, anything wrong with the heart, or that also can lead to erectile dysfunction. So if there is a problem, consult your doctor, and I'm sure he'll take care of it for you. Things like popping in Viagra pills, which are available across the counter, is not a solution, because it's a very short-term solution, and each one of these medicines has their own side effects if they are going to be taken unsupervised. Okay. So it's important to look at it from the point of view of a completely broad-based approach towards general health, rather than just localizing yourself to a particular problem and trying to treat it with just a pill to sort out everything. It doesn't work like that.
Definitely. So thank you so much, Dr. Sumit, for coming to our show and sharing your valuable time and insights with us at MediCircle.
You're welcome.
It will really help, especially helpful for our male audience who would be watching this video, because a lot of questions which I have asked with you from a medical expert, now they would be getting the answers from the medical expert straight away at our MediCircle video.
Yes.
Thanks again for joining.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Smita. If there are any questions from your audience and you would like me to revert to them, I would be glad to.
Sure. Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Take care.